Greetings, welcome back to Ministry Monday. This is Carlton Coon. I want to talk with you about pastoral ministry and specifically pastoring those people who we would label as narcissists. Those of us who have pastored a while recognize that you deal with difficult people. And the more effectively you can deal with difficult people, the more people you are able to influence. And there are several reasons for this. One is simply you're able to keep around folks who are difficult. Otherwise, they either become such a thorn in the side that we're all kind of driven crazy and maybe driven to do something else somewhere else, as many pastors have done. Or it may be that this person leaves, but they take with them others who they influence who are not narcissistic. So learning how to deal with narcissistic people, with difficult people, is an important part of being an effective pastor. Imagine that you had Haman or Achan or Gideon during his 39 years and 11 months of being relatively carnal, or even King Saul as part of your spiritual community. And the reality is you do have people who are just like them. They don't have those names, but you have people who have the same traits and characteristics. Narcissism is a condition of being self-absorbed. It's named after a mythological being. Narcissus saw himself in a stream, saw his reflection in a stream, and was so enamored by what he saw that he stopped at the stream, looked at his face in the water, and just could not draw himself away. He was so in love with himself that he wouldn't leave even to get some food. And he eventually starved to death there looking at himself. So from narcissist, this mythological being, we get the word narcissist, someone who is self-absorbed. And this is even a psychological condition if it reaches an extreme. And we will not have many people who we pastor who will have been diagnosed, but I have pastored people who, if they had gone and been tested, they would have met the benchmark for being a narcissist in every sense of the word. It's found in the church. Just think about Haman. Haman, from all indication, made a good first impression, or at least he did for his king. As we read about Haman, we quickly become aware that he was proud. And his pride caused him to be so full of himself that he could only see life through his own lens. He was better than others. He was better than Mordecai. He was better than all the Jews. And he had been promoted to this position of second in the land. And so he saw himself as a cut above everybody else, to the point that this narcissistic man named Haman was willing to destroy anybody who did not agree with him. And his motivation in some ways was all about honor. It was about respect. It was about having center stage and being given the plaudits and recognition that he felt he deserved. Achan was there for the taking of Jericho, but while he was part of that military force, he was doing something that benefited himself. He was instructed by God that he wasn't to do this. No other person in Israel fell prey to the same temptation as what Achan did. Achan, taking those valuables, caused Israel to be defeated at the next little village they attacked. They had men die at Ai as a direct result of Achan's narcissistic behavior. And ultimately his own family dies because of Achan's foolishness, because of him seeing himself as the main thing. The rules did not apply to Achan. Narcissism is not a sin without cost. Haman's self-interest prompted him to want to destroy all of the Jews that were in that kingdom. One man's narcissism can become a destructive force that affects dozens of people you pastor. you pastor, or if you are a novice, you will pastor narcissistic people. And they are a challenge to the work of God. They're a challenge. They're a challenge to pastor. And we'll talk about solutions and remedies and addressing some of that. But I want to leave you just one tidbit of response that may help you even through this week. If someone is a narcissist and you know you've already picked up the traits of their narcissism, do not quickly buy into anything that a narcissist is pressing you to do. Be slow in your response. Be deliberate. You've got to give a response now, or you're going to get assaulted for that. But be slow and deliberate, having thought it through, because the narcissist's goal is going to be about them having the spotlight, their family being center stage, their child, perhaps their grandchild, perhaps someone who is in their little group of sycophants being center stage. Go slow in responding to a narcissistic person's ideas. That's one suggestion. I'll be back with many more. And that book, by the way, is discounted right now until Tuesday. Go ahead and get it at my website for the print copy and for Amazon for the Kindle. And I'll see you next week.